Welcome back to Around the World with Dane Waters. I'm looking forward to continuing this conversation with Kamila Sadiqi about what's happening in Afghanistan. And the other thing is, Kamila, is I want to ask you. I know this may sound like a strange question, but the world needs to understand the importance of women in this world. I mean, how would you define the importance of women for the future of our planet?
You know that women are really, really important. You know that in my country, uh, the population of Afghanistan, the majority of are women. And if women become educated and have a good life, they are the one that they take care of the children and family, and they support the community and the country. In this case, role of women are very, very important, and we have to support them.
And so the reason I bring that up, like in other countries around the world, I mean, in Afghanistan, what's happening with the with women and children and young girls is hideous on every single level. But in Nigeria, for example, where this broadcast is based up in the north, we have a very similar issue where young girls are not educated. So if you were talking to what you are, the Nigerians and how would we explain to them the importance of fighting for the rights of these young girls in the north to ensure that they're educated? I mean, how would you convince them that it's very critical to stand up and fight for these young girls?
My suggestion is that the Nigerian women and girls and Afghan girls or any other girls, they have to invest for education. Education is the light of the future, and education is the solution. And also, in the meantime, sustainability in business is something that we can bring change, bring some change in our family, in our community, in our country. I am one of the examples that, that when I faced with always with the challenges and there was some opportunity, I change it to opportunities. If I can do in Afghanistan, I'm sure that Nigerian women, young women, they are much better than me. My suggestion is that they have to invest their time, their money, their all effort for education and think about sustainability and business.
Well, it's just inspiring young women, or just not inspiring young women, but inspiring women. I mean, Nigeria is a country where it's a very difficult economically and politically in the country, even though I think it's getting better, but it's still very difficult. And for the women who are watching this show, I mean, they think, okay, we have no future, we have no hope. So for someone like you who was faced with that, I mean, I know you talked about your mother and the importance of your mother and the importance of your family, but even today, when you're still helping all these African women, it's got to be very difficult and trying. So how do you stay so positive? How do you stay uplifted? And what would you suggest to women like every day when they wake up and they say it's very difficult, I can't do this? How do you inspire them to keep going?
The way that I always think and start something, we have some power inside of us. Our thinking, that if we think positively and if we think something about the future or maybe right now, we can create a lot of things. That I know that there is no for some country that there is a bank, there is access to finance, there everything. It's very easy for them to start something. But my experience and my country is similar to Nigeria. They can read this book that how I support my family. The way that I'm talking right now. It was not like this easy. The way that I just share my experience. There is a detailed information on the book that how we face with the challenges. And forget that time. Right now, when I left my country, I never invest in London. Always work, invest, and support my country and my family. I came here again and start my life from zero. And now I support Kamla Siddiqui Foundation. It's my volunteer job. And also I started community interest company. And now 100 women come together in my community. And yesterday I opened a tree school of Rukafzo here We teach Pashto and Dari for the community. In the meantime, we support each other and start some small businesses here in London. That's why that if we think we have a power inside of us, and if we think and create something new, it's possible. It's possible in London, it's possible in Afghanistan, in Nigeria, in any other places, if we become creative and positive for future.
I think it's very important for people to understand. And I think the other thing you said, which is very important, is that, there are a lot of people who leave Nigeria, just like, and leave other countries. But when you leave your country, you should still invest in I mean, people who leave Nigeria spend money back to Nigeria. But I think one thing you said, which is very important, is how you take your community wherever you go, and try to bring them together. So when it comes to the Afghan community, for example, so you're still very active, not only in helping in Afghanistan, but in London itself, you are bringing people together, right? As far as Afghan women.
Yes, as I discussed one day in House of Parliament as well, that that when I was in Afghanistan, there was a five important challenges that Afghan women face, which is cultural barriers, education, access to finance, that security, lack of government support of government. That's why the people cannot start a business or they don't have a good life. But when I came to London and see the women, the way that they are living here, believe me, I was so upset. And I say that, oh no, I need my energy, uh, 20 years ago, energy that I was working in Afghanistan to support these women in the community. And I start this company because the five challenges that we face in Afghanistan, there is a five opportunity in London. If someone want to study, there are a lot of chance for them to go to study. If someone want to start a business, if they have a skill, there is a bank and there are a lot of organizations that they support people, especially the refugee new arrival to start their own business. And the government is very supportive. It's a peaceful place. That's why we should not complain that we don't have a good life here again. In this case, most of the new arrivals from Afghanistan, from Ukraine. Yesterday, we opened this project, the joint project with a Ukrainian organization, Miss Oksana. She is a very active woman in the community with the Ukrainian women, and we established these schools here. And we already manage a lot of business networking and business event for women to encourage them to start their own businesses. That's why I think that we have to invest our time for the positive way and create something here in London, and we can support some community or some non-profit organization in Afghanistan as well.
Well, yeah, in London. So you're now working with the Ukrainians as well. There are a lot of Nigerians in the UK, and maybe there's an opportunity for the women, Nigerian women in the UK, to hook up with you and to work with you to try to better education for Nigerian women as well. I think that there would be a great resource there. Have
I
you
would.
found, but let me just ask this, not to be sexist for a second, but have you found that a lot of men try to stop what you're trying to do, or are the men being supportive of what you're trying to do?
To be honest, I'm a, one day I told to my friend as well that I'm very lucky. I never ever see a man to come and you know uh, disencourage me or jealous with me, or they always support me when I opened this taxi company in Afghanistan on 2014. On Facebook I got 2,800 positive comment that they encourage me, like their sister or like their daughter. And that day I was telling to my friend, this is the change in the country. Look at people, how they support me, how they help me. The way that I help people, it's not for a family, it's not for women. If I support a family and they have a good life and they have a sustainable life, man is part of that family. That's why I always get support, never ever faced with the challenge of men to stop me from my work.
Well, that's encouraging. There are some good men in the world, right?
Yes.
There are. But this, to change gears here, I want to talk about the United Nations real quick. Has the United Nations been supportive, or do you think that they are losing their ability to be a good force around the world?
You know that what happened to Afghanistan? You know that there was a lot of negative impact in the world, especially for the government of Afghanistan, the president, and also for American, for everyone. But there was a lot of challenges from. I just talk about my own country that uh, one of the person that I was working in the government and also for the project of American, there was a lot of support from American. Corruption was one of the biggest challenge in Afghanistan. That did you know that American support Afghan people? American came and helped us. All international organization they support Afghanistan. They support us, but the main challenge was corruption in the country. We cannot stop the corruption if we can manage the corruption in Afghanistan. Afghanistan ever never faced with these challenges that now everyone blame American and government and president and everyone that what happened to Afghanistan. To be honest, everyone came to help us.
But But they've gone now. Is it? Do you think that? I mean, this is what goes back to the beginning of the show. I mean, one thing that's very frustrating to me is that once again, you never hear about Afghanistan. I mean, you hear what's happening in the Middle East, of course. You hear about what's happening in Ukraine. You hear about what's happening in certain parts of Asia. You know, the news is consumed with other parts of the world, but it's like Afghanistan doesn't exist anymore. You know, and the world has to understand that we can't just turn our back on Afghanistan. I mean, if you want to opine on this, how do you feel about the future of Afghanistan as a country and for the women there?
Still, with all these challenges, I am optimistic. If Afghan people stand and also international community give us one more chance, and you will see the change and you will see the hope because Afghan people are very, very hard worker, very talented. And right now there are a lot of professional and young people are working in Afghanistan for different projects. Still, they take a risk and go back, and because they have hope. If they don't have a hope for these people, that most of them they go back from the professional people that they have a good life here, but still they go and support education in Afghanistan, they go and support business in Afghanistan, and still they invest because they have hope. We cannot think that after this accident we forgot Afghanistan. If international community did not pay attention, or American did not pay attention, one day they will see that Afghanistan is a country. There is a life of 35 or 38 million people, 3,000 or 4,000 or 5,000 people evacuated. It's not a, all population of Afghanistan that they left the country. There are a lot of educated people and they're waiting. Regarding the international community did not pay attention for the news and these things in Afghanistan, as you mentioned, 3 days there was no internet in Kabul and people disconnect with their family. And if one person came to America or to US, the rest of the family, one person evacuated, the rest of the family are in Kabul right now. And imagine that for 3 days they were not able to connect with the family. How you think in this situation that life of everyone connected with the internet, life, business, each and everything. But 3 days there was no internet in Afghanistan, but no one talk about. I think my suggestion is that we have to have more this kind of conversation in different news and in different channels, in different media, from the positive way of the Afghanistan, people of Afghanistan, not government of Afghanistan. If you go and see right now in a very far village of Afghanistan, some farmer are busy, they have life, and they think positive for their future.
Well, but is it dangerous? Let's talk about young girls, like some of the stuff that you're doing in the country, helping educate these young girls and others. Help the audience understand, is it dangerous for young women to be educated into things that you're doing? Do certain people risk getting in trouble and being harmed because of the things that they're doing?
No, this the punishment is not for women. The punishment is for the country. They want to destroy a country for the next 20 years that there's no doctor, there's no engineer, there's no teachers, and there is no scientists, nothing. It's not only a matter of that the girls are not going to school right now. Now everybody knows that what's going in my country.
Hmm. Well, let's talk about real quick about going back to Nigeria real quick. I mean, it's in the northern part of the country and other parts of the country, they're faced with the same thing about just young girls are just not going to be educated. And I just find that really on the face of it is just bizarre, the fact that to think about some people sitting around in a room saying we're just not going to educate our young women. I mean, I just think that I can't even fathom that. And the impact of the world that that's going to have later on. But what do you think that, where do you look for the future? I mean, what are your future goals and aspirations? I mean, are you going to continue growing your outreach for Afghanistan?
Definitely, all the time I'm supporting Afghan girls, Afghan people, and I'm working with them, and I will go one day. I'm very optimistic. Afghanistan is not only Afghanistan of for politician people. Afghanistan is belongs to 38 million people of Afghan Muslim people that they are living there.
Well, I have to talk about corruption real quick because corruption is a problem in a lot of countries. And I see it in Ukraine, even during the war. I mean, where money goes from a government to a government, there's a lot of corruption. So would you argue that the most important thing is that people give their donations directly to organizations like yours and bypass the government? Do you think that's the best thing to do?
No, most of the organization they are not capable to implement million and trillion dollar or some very big amount of money. My request is that international community and also the local NGO, the most of the local NGO that they have capacity, international community should practice some pilot project with some of this big organization. For the small organization, we can. My suggestion is that they can make some consortium with a big organization and some small organization. 4, 5, 10 organizations should come together and then implement the project. An international community should be there and help us. But the way that they give all the money to the government or all the money to the international community or all money to a non-profit small organization, because everyone can corruption, if everywhere possible to corruption happen. In this case, we have to be very careful and give the money and trust for those people that they're honest for the country.
Well, listen, Camilo, sadly we're out of time. I just want the world to understand that people like you inspire me each and every day. I mean, the stuff that you do, because the world is a very difficult place. There's a lot of pain and suffering around the world. And people like you stand up every day to fight for what's right and fight for people and fight for women and fight for a better world and human dignity. And I applaud you. So thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Thanks for being with Around the World with Dane Waters. It's always a pleasure. I will see you guys and all of you next week. Thank you.